You're listening to Talk Amongst Yourself, the solo space where we pause, reflect, and get radically honest. I'm Kaylene. I don't usually do the grocery shopping live in a store. I usually order for delivery or pick up. Because as I've gotten older, I cannot stand to be in crowds. The anxiety it causes me becomes too overwhelming for me. So a few weeks ago, I actually went to the grocery store since I was passing by and I needed just a few things. To my surprise, I saw beef priced like jewelry. I saw 3 regular cut ribeyes for $75. There was nothing special about these. They weren't more marbled, they weren't thicker, and they certainly weren't thin, but I thought that I must be seeing things. I wanted to say something to the woman that was sitting next to me, like, am I seeing things? Like, does this really say $75 for 3 ribeyes? And I'm telling you, they were not big. They may have been I'm going to say maybe 8 ounces each. But I still could not believe $75 for 3 of them. Anyway, so while I was there, I searched the meat section, just the beef right now. And I was like, okay, not only is like steak out of hand, but like even like the cheap cuts of steak that you can usually get pretty cheaply. I saw the stew meat, which is usually kind of, it's usually affordable, and that was a staggering price as well. However, I found pork ribs that were $9 a slab. So I grabbed some for me and I grabbed a pack for my niece. And my wife was like, that's what happens when you don't grocery shop, right? But I know that we, on a normal day, do not spend that much on steak. I mean, that was just unreal. So I was like, okay, I haven't really been paying attention to the news for the last couple of weeks because I just needed to breathe. And currently in the US, we have a higher demand than we have enough beef. And this is due to a decline in production here in the United States due to drought and due to the cost of maintaining cattle. Their feed is up, everything is up, as we know. And a lot of it is due to the tariffs that are happening. So a lot of people don't have their brains wrapped around tariffs, and I'm going to help you with that here in a second. But currently, for your information, there is a 76% tariff on Brazilian beef. And there is also no beef allowed from Mexico due to the fear of screwworm parasites being present in their beef. And that I can understand. However, these tariffs, so we're going to discuss tariffs for just a moment. I know that everybody thinks tariffs is great. Tariffs are bringing a lot of money to the U.S. Well, you know what? They are bringing a lot of money to the U.S. government. However, let me break it down for you so that you have a understanding of these tariffs. So, this is the simplest explanation, period, that there is. And if you don't understand this, then I don't know what to tell you. But here is how it works, okay? So, the importer is the company that is bringing the goods into the country that has to pay the tariff when the items arrive. Okay, get that? The importer is the American company that has to pay for those goods when they arrive. The exporter is the company that is selling the goods from another country. They may or may not lower their price to help cover the tariff and keep their customer. Okay, do you get it? The exporter is the company that is selling the goods to the United States importer. They may or may not lower their prices to help with the tariffs. So technically, they don't have to lower the prices at all to help with those tariffs. So do you see what I'm saying? That means the American company that is buying the imported goods which they are the importer because they're importing it from an exporter from another country. So when they're importing those goods, they may and probably do have to pay those tariffs and have to pay more for those goods because no country in their right mind at this point is helping America, as we all know. So what happens when the importer pays for those? The importer just paid the tariff price for those goods that are coming in from an exporter. So the importer, who is the American country, now to get their money's worth, is going to have to pass that price down to the stores that they're selling that to, and then the stores in turn are selling that at a higher price to the consumer. Who is the consumer? The consumer is regular people. You, me, Sally, Joseph, it doesn't matter. We are the regular people. And now we end up paying more because the extra costs get added to the final price, even if it's not shown on the receipt. So basically, we're paying the tariffs. So that 76% tariff on beef that is being imported because America doesn't have enough beef to feed the masses or the demand. So we, the consumer, are paying the tariff prices. Doesn't matter if it's food. It doesn't matter if it's your shoes. Whatever is imported, we are paying for. So you see all that stuff that says made in China. Guess what? You're paying more for it because it says made in China. So now think about this. Just because it's made in the U.S., do you really think those U.S. companies are going to say, oh, you know what? I know these are importers are selling this stuff and our stores are selling this stuff at higher prices. Okay, but even if we get it from the U.S., that's not going to matter because we could get into this price war and we can make double our money. So guess what they're doing? They're also going to higher their prices. So with Brazil having to pay 76% tariffs, us having to pay basically the importers the 76% tariff on the beef, what makes you think American beef isn't going to cost us 76% more on those tariffs? Because what is America? We are not just a democratic society, right? So we are going to pay more. It doesn't matter who made it. It doesn't matter if the Americans made it. It doesn't matter who made what product. They're still going to add to inflation by keeping the prices the same. So you think just because we got milk from an American farm that it's going to cost cheaper? No, it's going to cost more. It's going to cost the same price. Why would it cost less? Keep in mind, their feed is probably coming from outside the United States, so they're paying tariffs on that feed as well. So since we're a capitalistic society and we need to make money in this country, what do you think is going to happen? There you go. So I don't know how to explain tariffs any more clearer than I just did. There is no easier way without me drawing, a diagram for you so that you can understand. We, the consumer, are the ones that are hurt by tariffs. That means we are paying our own government way more money. Get it? Got it? Okay. I shouldn't need to explain that anymore. Everybody should get it. And if you don't get it, go back, rewind, and listen to it. So anyway, meanwhile, all this is happening, we got the White House being gutted for a ballroom. Sometimes I wonder, how long is this ballroom going to take to build? Not only that, I hear there's structural problems, right, as we talked about before, but I may have also talked about this grocery stuff the last segment. I don't even know, but I just needed to talk about mostly the tariffs. So, meanwhile, the White House is being gutted. Let me get back to that. With all that stuff happening and the tariffs and everything else that is happening in our world right now, especially with humans, humans have completely, I swear, lost their humanity. And I think my biggest problem now and why I had to take another 2 weeks off was because I realized I'm not grounded in this version of the world. And I swear, there are days when I feel like I am on the wrong timeline. I swear to God, I am on the wrong timeline. In my lifetime, and I've only been living on this planet for 53 years and some change because I'm about to be 54 in January. However, you know, the emotional cost of this economic absurdity is insane. I mean, not only are we looking at grocery store sticker shock, and it triggers our nervous system, right? It's like we're watching the basic needs become luxuries. And inside, I have like this quiet panic, of realizing I'm not imagining it, that it's really bad. And then we got the government trying to cut off SNAP, which is like food stamp programs and things like that. And I am just blown away by the amount of people out there going, well, good. Maybe we should cut it off. Well, good. What did they do with their money from October? Blah, blah, blah. Gee, I don't know. In October, maybe they used it on October groceries. Like, what is it any of your business? I mean, it's like what we don't understand is that there are people here in the United States of America, and I know it's hard to believe, that are living under the poverty line. Okay? Those people that are living under the poverty line, they need help. It's been this way for a long time. You need help. How can you expect these people that are living under the poverty line to not need help? How can you talk crap about these people when these are the people that are serving your ass at Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, the grocery store, almost any restaurant you go to? These people are serving you. The people that are delivering your groceries, the people that are doing all kinds of stuff. If we didn't have these people doing these jobs, there would be no fast food. There would be no restaurants. Your ass would actually have to cook something. Unless you got enough money to pay for a cook. I know I don't. So I'm pretty thankful for these people that are working at McDonald's, that are working at Burger King, and they're just trying to make a living wage. They're just trying to make things meet. They're just trying, what you also need to understand is not every human was made the same. Not everybody can afford a college education. Not everybody is going to go to college. We're not all on the same level. Not everybody has 120 IQ. It's just that way. There are handicapped people that are mentally handicapped, that are physically handicapped, things like that. But it's like we just turn a blind eye to that stuff. And it's just making me sick. I have never seen so many people be so inhumane by wishing and hoping that these people that get their SNAPs benefits don't get them and that they do starve. Let me tell you something. What these people put in their baskets is none of our business. It's not your money. If they want to splurge and they want to eat a steak every once in a while or whatever, go for it. Whatever. What makes them any different than us? We just treat people like trash. It's like we have this thing where we have to be better than the Joneses, and that, people, makes me sick. It's along the lines of, let's pit all the minorities against each other. Gee, I don't know. Why do you think that was? Why do you think that was? So that they can hold us all down and keep us in check. If we're fighting amongst ourselves or fighting against each other, what are they doing? They're sitting there up high on their high horse making all the money while we're just sitting here I don't know, selling drugs, doing whatever, because that's what they see. That's all they see. They don't see the good in us. They don't see any of that. All they see is a perception that their mind has made up, you know? For example, they expect all Mexicans to have accents. They expect all Mexicans and black people to live in the ghetto. They expect all kinds of things like that, people. And truly, in reality, it's not like that. Many of us are very intelligent. Many of us are very intelligent just trying to make ends meet. But I will tell you, I just, my, I don't know, man. There were days when my hope in humanity really truly wasn't there. It hasn't been there for a while, and then we see what just happened in the elections this past week. And then you're like, oh, thank God, people came out, people voted, and there is some hope. But good God, man, I swear to God, some of the worst stuff that was ever created in the history of mankind was the internet and social media. I think social media is the worst thing that ever happened. I mean, not necessarily the internet, because the internet is brilliant. I mean, you can learn all kinds of stuff, right? But social media and news on the internet is a bunch of crap. I mean, let's be real about it. It was a place that created a persona for so many people where we could sit back behind our keyboards and be keyboard warriors and say out loud what we thought and what we really felt, because most of that stuff and that negative stuff that is being spewed out of people's mouths is stuff that they would never ever say to somebody's face. I mean, people are throwing around the N-word like it's an everyday thing. People are talking about how they're racist, how they don't like black people, how they don't like Mexicans, how we don't like people coming to our country. Are you serious? It just disgusts me. It disgusts me how people are back there cheering on ICE while kids are in the car crying and they're beating people up in the streets, dropping guns because they're so trained. And honestly, are these people really ICE? I mean, it makes me think that half these people out there are just bounty hunters with the word ICE on their chest. Because if you watch some of these idiots putting their guns in a freaking belt loop, like, are you serious? You don't. What sense does that make? Let me drop my gun and let me put it back in my belt loop because I don't have a holster. Now, anybody who is armed forces, anybody who is a police officer, anybody who is a sheriff that carries a weapon usually does so with a holster. It doesn't even make sense. And it's not safe to put a freaking gun in your goddamn belt. Like, are you retarded? And yep, I just said retarded. And I know I have a friend who's going to be on my ass for saying retarded. I'm sorry. I'm old school. I still say that word, but I'm going to apologize right now, but I'm not going to kill this segment because I'm too far in it already. So I'm not going to kill that word. I could take it out, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. We'll see what happens. However, are you dumb? I mean, I don't know if dumb is even any better, but I think that, let me explain myself again. I have to go backwards again because now she's got me thinking about it. Now, to me, the word retarded wasn't necessarily used in my day as somebody who had a disability. It was kind of used in my mind as somebody who was dumb, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so I just wanted to explain that tidbit, but I do owe you an apology for saying the word. And sometimes it bugs me because I feel like some people are really overly sensitive when it comes to words and how we say them. And I hate having to think about what I'm saying all the time, but sometimes it becomes habit. But I'm trying to break the habits. I am really trying to break the habit. So give me some grace, please, and thank you. Anyway, let me move on from that. So All right, so let me get back to this. We've got, I don't even know where I was. We've got these, these people out there that are all pissed off because, of people that are on Snap, you know. And it just seems to me that with cutting off Snap, a bunch of people that, uh, I guess, have a numbness, I guess, to suffering. Those are the people that really don't care. Those are the people that are talking the worst about others that need to use these benefits. And it's not just regular people. It's our elderly. It is our elderly that use this stuff, that use these benefits, that need these benefits. Let's talk about my mother. I'll talk about my mom. She worked all her life, but you got to keep in mind, she is 84 years old. Okay. She worked all of her life until she was 65. So you got to keep in mind that when she retired, we're talking what, in the early 2000s, that something like that, like 2006, 2007, that when she retired, society was different. There weren't like all these billionaires and millionaires and all these people that were making a crap load of money, so that when she got her Medicare, it's like $1,200, you guys. It's like $1,285 right now. And she's been on it, for like 20 years? That's ridiculous. And so what is she going to do with that? Somebody answer me that question. How is she going to afford an apartment? She couldn't afford an apartment. Yeah, well, then, she could have got help for that. But that's the help that you guys are complaining about. So how is she going to get help? So basically, my mother lives with me. She has since her retirement, almost all my life anyway, but she lives with me. She's not asked to pay any bills because it's $1,200 a month, which, what are you going to do $1,200? I mean, hell, some people's car payments are $1,200 these days. Not mine, but some people's car payments are $1,200. What is she going to do with that? She couldn't afford an apartment right now if she tried. A one-bedroom apartment where I live is like anywhere from $1,700 and up. A one-bedroom apartment. It's probably like 510 square feet. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so we didn't just lose that funding. I feel like we've lost our humanity in this whole entire thing, especially with the stupid, big, beautiful bill. Okay? Which in that bill, there are cuts to Medicaid and SNAP. And it's projected to exceed $1 trillion over 10 years. Over 10 years. In 10 years, I'll be almost retirement age. So what am I going to do? I mean, thank God that I am in a job that is decent paying, that I can afford my bills, and I try not to live outside my means. I'm not saying that I don't once in a while, but I try not to live outside my means. That's a big deal to me. I want to have a savings account because it freaks me out that in 10 years, money that I've put in may not be there for me. And that's crazy. Work requirements are expanding, right? Exemptions are narrowing. And millions, due to this bill, may lose their access to basic care and nutrition. But see, we have human beings that have no souls, that don't care about other people, that profess to be Christians. And I think that's why a lot of people have left organized religion. A lot of people have left organized religion in droves. Because we just don't care about people anymore like we used to. The Bible says to love thy neighbor, right? But these people hate other people. I mean, the stuff that I have just seen posted as of late about people losing their SNAP, people losing all that stuff, is insanity. Oh, well, let them starve. Really? This is America. We are supposed to be the strongest, the best, the greatest country in the world. Well, let me tell you, we are nowhere near. We are the most embarrassing country in the world right now. We can't even get along with ourselves, let alone the rest of the world. We think that we should be out there policing everyone else when we can't even take care of our own here without people complaining about others, accusing them of drawing off the system. It's embarrassing. And this world right now just isn't. I'm definitely not grounded. I am definitely not grounded in what is happening here. In fact, I think I'm feeling grief. I'm feeling like, wow, we are worse than vultures. We would just pick anybody clean just to see others suffer. But yet, when we suffer ourselves, we expect people to come running and help us. Where did our humanity go? Where did caring for other people go? Even the ones that dislike us, even though it's hard as hell to do that, because let me tell you, there are a few people that I loathe. And I ain't gonna lie, I wish to God somebody would trip down some steps and break their neck. And that's my karma to deal with, and that's my soul. You are not responsible for my karma, and you are not responsible for my soul. So don't worry about it. But the point is Jesus, people, are we that far gone that we are unwilling to help our fellow man in our own country? People that want to come here for the American dream. I don't think you guys understand how big the American dream is or was. I feel like it's a was. I feel like the American dream has just been trampled upon and it's no longer there. It's almost like the American path to survival. Like, I almost feel like someday it's going to come down to the survival of the fittest. We're not going to help each other because we don't care. And that right there, just, people, I don't know what to tell you about that. That's awful. That's awful. I would like every one of you to look deep down inside and see where you're at, because I think that you're going to be on one side or the other. And I think it's going to be a losing side if you don't get your humanity back and you don't start caring about other people. It's going to hurt us more than anything is to hate others. I mean, pets love us unconditionally. Why not be more like our pets, for God's sake? I mean, sure, some people deserve conditions, murderers, rapists, people like that, grifters, rip-offs, people like that. They don't deserve that. But I'll tell you what, though, kids don't deserve to be hated on. Oh, I hope you starve. Come on, man. Find your humanity. Please. Before it's too late. One of these days you're going to wake up and it's going to be you. And who's going to be there to pick you up? I bet you there is someone, because most of us do have people in our lives that have some humanity. So somebody who has humanity is probably going to reach out and help you when you don't even deserve it. Hop on the right side here, people. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like I just went on some tirade and I missed a lot of what my show was going to be about this week, but I don't know, maybe I did hit it. I haven't the slightest idea. But I will say this. If you're feeling lost, so am I. If you're watching the world spiral while trying to buy groceries, me too. If you're tired of pretending this all makes sense, then you're not alone. You're not broken, you're awake. And to that I say, to you other people that aren't, wake the hell up. Show some compassion for your fellow man. That would be awesome. That would be great. We have all these people with millions of dollars who could feed the masses. You could probably feed an entire country for years to come, but you're so damn greedy and you're so damn too busy trying to get out to space instead of worrying about what's happening on this planet. That's ridiculous. And if there are aliens, good God, man, either wipe us out or come get me. Come get the people that deserve to be off this planet and just leave the rest. That's fine. Let them all kill each other for whatever Let them all kill each other for the last dollar that's left. It's sad. Anyway, I'll be back next Sunday, or actually probably another episode this week, because I do know you owe you another episode. But until then, stay soft, stay brave, and stay